Aimee Simple McPherson was an evangelical preacher who reached her height in the 1920s and 30s and was famous for founding the Foursquare Church. In 1923, she commissioned the building of the Angelus Temple, located at 1100 Glendale Boulevard, Los Angeles, just north of Echo Park Lake. Its 125-foot wide dome was the largest in North America at the time. After the temple's dedication in 1923, the 5,300-seat auditorium was filled 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Aimee Simple McPherson pioneered the use of broadcast mass media to reach a larger audience. She was the first woman to preach a sermon over the airwaves in the United States, and she drew a massive audience. She staged church sermons with grand performances and theatrical flair. She held faith-healing events with thousands in attendance. At her height, she was arguably the most famous evangelist in the United States, surpassing Billy Sunday, who reached his peak in the 1910s. On May the 18th, 1926, McPherson disappeared while at Ocean Park Beach in Santa Monica, California. More than a month later, on June the 23rd, McPherson reemerged at a hospital in Douglas, Arizona. She said that she had been abducted and held in a shack in the Mexican desert, but was eventually able to escape her abductors. After law enforcement scrutinized the case, they believed the whole thing was either a publicity stunt or that she was trying to cover up a secret love affair with one of her employees, Kenneth Ormiston, who was a radio engineer. Prosecutors brought charges against her for criminal conspiracy, perjury, and obstruction of justice. But eventually all charges against her were dropped for lack of evidence on January the 10th, 1927. At the outbreak of World War II, McPherson rejected pacifism. There were many among the spiritually aware that were willing to endure the sacrifices that pacifism might call for. Gandhi was committed to pacifism, but McPherson felt that Axis aggression was just too great a threat to the world. Her war bond drives were hugely successful, and she did much to support our troops. Aimee Simple McPherson passed away on September the 27th, 1944, and is buried in Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. The Angelus Temple celebrated its centennial in 2023 and has a thriving following to this day. Echo Park Lake is a reservoir that was originally built in 1868 as a source of drinking water, but today is used as a detention basin in the city's storm drain system. After the reservoir was constructed in 1868, water was obtained by digging a ditch that sent water flowing from the Los Angeles River in the area now known as Los Feliz, along a path that emptied into the reservoir. Echo Park Lake has a 14-acre surface area.
Here we are at Echo Park, and there you can see one of the Swan boats. You can rent them for $13.
Fargo Street is the second steepest street in Los Angeles and has a grade of 32% on that portion of Fargo Street running between Alessandro Street and Alvarado Street. From the early 1970s until 2018, the Fargo Street Hill Climb was held every year, typically in mid-March, where bicyclists would compete to see who could ride their bike up the steep street. But with the advent of the internet and navigation apps bringing excess traffic to the famous area with its narrow and steep streets, safety concerns prompted the city in 2018 to make Fargo Street, between Alessandro Street and Alvarado Street, a one-way street, downhill only, bringing the Fargo Street Hill Climb to an end. So, what is the steepest street in Los Angeles? Eldred Street in the Mount Washington neighborhood is the steepest street in Los Angeles and California, with a 33.3% grade over parts of the street, about 1 degree steeper than Fargo Street.
And here we are at Fargo Street. As you can see, it's a one-way street, downhill only. And you know what's funny is, looking at the street live, it literally looks twice as steep as it does in this video. Fargo Street at Alessandro Street, and it's steep. There is a link in the description about the Fargo Street Hill Climb, and in that link is a video from 2003 of Huell Hauser's covering the event. I hope you enjoyed this video on Echo Park. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.